While Lottie and Emily loaded the tray with crockery and cutlery, Nancy put the rest of the sponge in the tin and returned the margarine to the marble slab on the shelf in the corner cupboard that did duty as their larder. The family lived in 2 rooms, 3 if you counted the alcove at the head of the staircase that served as the girls' bedroom. But you'd have to be soft in the head to call that a bedroom and hope to get away with it. For cooking, they had the use of the tiny kitchen in the back of the shop downstairs, where the single gas ring meant that Mam had become an expert at one-pot cooking. Meals were carried upstairs with great care, and at the end of each meal, the tray was loaded with dirty dishes, which were taken downstairs to be washed up in the scullery. It was a fag if you were in the best of health, but for poor Mam, with her anemia, it was sometimes too much to cope with. Alongside the permanent smell of tobacco from the shop downstairs, the air in the flat was still sweet with the fruity, bready aroma of the tea cakes she'd brought home from the shop. They were yesterday's tea cakes that hadn't sold, but the Pikes didn't care about details like that. Tea cakes didn't have to be fresh from the oven to be a treat. While Pa gave Mam his arm and helped her from the table to their one and only armchair, Nancy fetched the small brass dustpan and brush and gave the tablecloth a brisk clean, pretending not to notice, as Mam, reaching the chair, dropped into it, and then made a fuss of settling herself, smoothing her skirt, as if she had been in perfect control of how she sat down. Tendrils of late summer sunshine slid through the window, bestowing a golden shimmer on their ancient oak sideboard, and almost returning it to its glory days, before it was bruised and scuffed and adorned with an unfortunate burn mark. The glowing light lent a silvery edge to the stack of faded piano music and turned the lace doilies to twinkling gossamer. Though all it did for the bare floorboards was make them look drab and bland. And never mind the elbow grease that went into scrubbing and polishing them every week, while the corners seemed curtained by inky shadows. "Come and sit down, Nancy." Pa took a ladder-back chair from the table and placed it beside Mam's armchair. How many men would do that? Not many, that was for sure, but Pa was a sweetheart. So, what if every other man would insist upon sitting on the carver chair at the table, because it was the one chair in their mismatched set that had arms? Pa was happy for Mam to have it, to help her be comfortable, the same as he wanted her to have the armchair. Pa might not be tall and imposing like other men, but he was the most considerate person Nancy had ever met. She paused in the act of pulling the tablecloth towards her. "Haven't taken the cloth off yet." "Leave it for now," said Pa. They never gave up on a task. Living in a small flat, you had to be tidy and organised. It made Mam's life easier and all. Half smiling, half frowning, she glanced at Mam. "Don't look at me," said Mam. "I don't know what this is about." Nancy picked up the oval-backed wooden chair from the table and carried it across. "It sounds serious." She didn't mean it. She only said it to make Pa say no, it wasn't. She smiled at him, giving him a second chance to say it. Pa smiled back, but his smile was tight, not a real smile at all. Nancy's skin prickled. Pa looked at Mam. "Our Nancy is 19 now. We ought to discuss her future." "My future?" It came out as a squeak. "Is this about me not wanting to marry Henry? He's a nice lad and I'm fond of him, but only as a friend. I couldn't marry someone I didn't love." "You're a lovely girl, and you'll meet someone one day, I'm sure," said Mam. "Let's hope so," said Pa. "Since the war, there are lots of girls who've been left high and dry without husbands. But just in case, we need to talk about your job, our Nancy." "What about it? I love it. I know it's an early start, and I'm on my feet all day, but..."